We've got some more leaks hidden within iOS 13's code to suggest that Apple's tile tracker could be coming out to the public very, very soon. Mentioned it in previous videos, but I haven't made a formal video describing how helpful this can be, and now we have more inside information to see how it's going to work. So, without further ado, let's begin! While it is still hidden as a code name, we don't know what Apple's going to be calling these things, but we know Apple tends to be very literal. You know, with the Find My app, it's meant for finding my friends or finding my devices. So I expect them to call it something very simple like items or Apple Tracker or Apple Locator or maybe the Find My Tile or something like that. Really on the nose. Not really sure what the naming direction of it is going to be, but a recent report from Mr. Rambo detailed inside iOS 13's code how this tracker is going to work. We keep seeing this picture of this circular device with an Apple logo on it, not very descriptive of what it's going to look like, but it does go into detail within iOS 13 software suggesting that these things are going to actually have removable batteries. How often does Apple launch a product with removable batteries? So this is kind of weird. Most likely using those very low powered ones you would find in some watches, and once the battery runs out, it will of course alert the user just like most other tracker devices out there would do, and there's a place on the back of this tracking device that you'll be able to unscrew and apply new batteries. The code also suggests that it will have a small independent speaker within each tracker that can go off so that you can hear it wherever this tracker may be, whether it's attached to your keys, attached to your bag, or even a bike. As the code suggests, you'll be able to customize the different icons for what you want that item to be recognized at, so that if you attach this little tracker to your key ring and you wanted to ping your keys so that you could find them somewhere in the house, you'd have the option to do so. So it's going to have its own built-in little speaker, and it looks like it will have its own dedicated tab within the Find My app with its own circular little logo there, so that you'll be able to find things that aren't just Apple-related devices. The reason this is going to make the Find My app even more practical than it already is because Apple has a lot of active Apple ID users authenticated across lots of different devices, not just iPhones. In increasing this network of devices to apply to not just MacBooks and iPads, a lot of which don't have Wi-Fi all the time, so if they get lost on some type of public transport or even stolen, just by connecting and being in range to other Apple devices out there across the world, they'll be able to ping themselves encryptedly, of course, no information that can be accessed by other people. In the background, it will ping other devices and let Apple know where that device was last located, and now activating these hopefully affordable Apple trackers everywhere, that's going to increase the likelihood of an offline device being able to pick up an Apple certified ping and let the user know when something is lost how it can be found again. So even if like just a few people are able to get these things attached to their keys, that's one more chance of a device getting pinged, whether it's out in public, at a restaurant, or even been stolen and it's at someone's house. Basically, if that robber steals an Apple product but at the same time has an iPhone, they'll actually unintentionally be helping the original owner find where their MacBook or iPad ended up. One thing that might help the Find My app be a lot more practical is if Apple started letting MacBooks have cellular support, which has been a pretty requested feature for a while, but still not most people would be getting MacBooks with LTE support, so it just makes the most amount of sense that they would start shipping out these trackers with removable batteries. So I couldn't help but think, wouldn't it kind of make a bit more sense if they were Qi supported or even Lightning supported? Wait, no, not Lightning, USB-C. Just put a little port on those, Apple. Like, why do we have to go out and buy those old batteries that we used for old watches? We use Apple Watches now. We want rechargeable batteries. They likely won't need to be changed out very often. It's not like you're going to be pinging this thing all the time, unless maybe you're quite forgetful and you leave your keys around the house and you don't know where they are a lot. But still, I think it would be a lot more practical if these little tiles you could drop on a Qi charger, or you could plug them into the same thing you charge your phone or your iPad with, and just have a rechargeable battery so that you don't have to go out and buy new ones. But I don't know, maybe it's too small a device to really sneak a port or even a Qi coil onto, or maybe that makes it too expensive. And hopefully this can be one of Apple's cheapest accessories that could make a big impact in all of our lives. Tile trackers are cool. I've used trackers in the past, but having that iOS integration, and I'm sure how easy these things will be to set up, most likely you just hold them near your iPhone and you have that H1 type pairing system where you just have the pop-up and you hit connect and then boom, you're ready to go. You don't need another app to download. You don't need another account with a password and have to log into it just to find where your keys and stuff are. All of that being done on Apple's end will, I think, simplify the entire experience. And of course, there's a lot of people that don't go out and do research on third-party trackers all the time, so if it's something that can just be off offered directly in the Apple Store when you're getting a new iPhone and let people know about it, then this is going to make quite the geographical network, to the point that it could get difficult to steal or lose an Apple product and not be able to locate it, which is great. I haven't lost any of my Apple devices in a long time, but if I do, the tracker devices that Apple is likely sending out are going to make it much easier to locate, hopefully if they have decent adoption rate. Best way to ensure they have a decent adoption rate is if Apple prices these things fairly low, make them competitive to the other trackers out there so that people are inclined to get it, and also have that benefit of the Apple ecosystem integration. And yes, of course, if you have that Fandroid perspective, it's just going to make it all that harder to switch away from your iPhone. Gosh darn it, Apple won us over again. But anyway, what do you think of Apple making their own tracker-style devices? Would you get some for your keys or your bag or maybe your bike? Let me know what you're thinking by hitting me up over on Twitter or joining our Discord. This is your Apple Sheep here. I'll see you guys in the next one.